And now, back to PTR Radio.
I made a little list of some of the things that you discussed. Bestiality, abortion, AIDS, Irishmen who drink, nuns, premature ejaculation, breastfeeding, and farts.
This is PTR Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. It's kind of nice to be back. Well, it's nice to be healthy again. Let's put it that way, too, so, you know.
Yeah,
that's always
can be.
Yeah, exactly. They said the cough can last between 2 weeks to 3 months. That is a confident, diagnosis there. So
I was gonna say that's like cable guy time frames there, man.
So yeah, it's gonna be hanging around for a while. My wife is still recovering as well, so we'll see how things go. But at least I can talk for a few minutes without coughing, and my back doesn't hurt as bad from coughing anymore. So that's a positive. But
yeah, that's terrible, man.
So how did everybody's Christmases go?
Oh, we were sick as well.
Mm.
So all the family stuff was canceled. Well, that's not true. Christmas Eve was the window of opportunity, if you will, where I felt better. And then that night, while we were at her cousin's, right after dinner, I look over and she looks at me and she goes, "I'm crashing hard."
Oh, man.
Okay, we got to go. Next day, boom.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Everybody was healthy around here.
Nah, see, that's how it is.
Nobody likes to show off, Colin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You and your healthy immune system, You're probably, disease-free house. At least I always seem to wait until the end of my vacation schedule. So, like, my team always knows, hey, he's scheduled for 2 weeks of vacation plus 2 being sick. So that's the way that it usually ends up. And it did this year, too. Go figure.
Well, that's... Yeah.
I'm like, well, you want me to be sick during my vacation? That's not going to happen. It's going to happen, like, the Saturday before I come back. So, And this year I had a very productive vacation. Got a lot of things around the house done. I told the guys the other day, like, successful Sunday DIY day. All right. Got some smart outlets put in. The big thing for me, re-weather sealing the garage door, which was not on my typical DIY list.
Yeah, that's not a fun job either.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, since the seal on the garage door was original to the house, and so it was 20 years old.
Oh wow! Okay.
So but other than being flat as a pancake and almost unfoldable, it was or rollable. It was pretty decent. So. And with like 45-degree weather, it was a better day to do it than others.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, but now I got my nice new one on there, and it's good. No more drafts on the door. So, next up, replacing hinges on the garage door. So, and the rollers make my garage door nice and tight and quiet.
As long as you're doing one at a time.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. So,
I think it was a couple of years ago we had the spring break on the garage door.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's a loud noise.
Yes, it is.
So I never had an actual spring break. I don't know if that's actually what happened. I've had the cable for break.
So
like the safe, not even the safety cable, the counterbalance cable, I guess, to the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So you still hear the boom, but It always seems to happen only on one side. So then the door goes.
Yeah, my
pukes
mom and
halfway up.
dad's old garage had the regular springs. Everything since then where I've been has been those tension bars. You know, the ones on that are mounted on the front. They're still
this was
springs,
the
I
tension bar.
understand. But no,
I
they
know,
used
see-
to have springs that ran along the sides.
Yeah.
That's
But
yeah.
the one broke for us was the tension bar.
Yeah, that's the one that
That's
can
the one
be
that broke.
a killer. You know.
Yes.
So
Yes, that's why I said it was very loud.
yeah, that's the one that they
And,
say don't mess with those. You know.
No, we had someone come out and fix it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, some things
Amazingly
should not be
affordable.
DIY'd.
No. Although I did see
No,
a
yeah,
new
yeah.
I did see a new thing on how to fix a leaky pipe the other day that I never thought I would have seen because it's counterintuitive to everything we know. You know how usually if you have to replace a like a shutoff valve, that means you got to shut off the water to the whole house because you're literally
Yeah.
replacing the thing that you otherwise would be using. This guy said, okay, it's commonplace over in Europe, and it's starting to come here to the U.S. You have this insulated wrap with what looks like a bicycle tire, stem on it. You wrap that around the pipe before where you're going to be removing, and they inject liquid nitrogen into the sleeve and freeze the water in the line on purpose
Yes.
to create a plug. And then they can work without having to turn the water off to the whole house. You know, the one thing that plumbers have always told us to do, avoid your pipes freezing. Now they're going to do a standard practice.
Well, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting the other day.
It is actually rather genius when you think about it.
Yeah. It's like there was a couple of people that have used like cork, you know, just jam a cork on there, and then once you're done, just run a drill through it to pop the cork out. Made perfect sense. You know, when they were doing it. So, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I felt good that I was productive. So every once in a while,
Good.
normally because my wife doesn't expect me to be productive in a DIY sense. You know, if she wants to get the latest streaming stuff, she calls me and she expects that of me, or to fix the robot vacuum cleaner, or to get the Wi-Fi back online, but not to replace the weather seal on the garage door. So that's always good.
All right, so you scored points.
Well, I just surprised her with a new skill I have. So, because most of the time when I attempt a new skill that I think I have, I end up breaking out the checkbook. So it doesn't always work.
I often have that. Well, I get the, what do you mean you can't do that? No, listen, I am not going to run a new drop line from the power pole outside. We're calling somebody.
This isn't India. We can't do our own high power work.
This isn't just plugging an extension cord in at the neighbor's. No.
Yeah.
And then there are some things where I'm like, oh, well, I'm pretty sure I could do that. And she's like, no, can't you just pay somebody?
Yeah. You ever do something and then when you're about to turn it on or activate it or do it for the first time, you're like, I hope I did this right. Or am I going to see sparks or hear water?
To your point, changing out outlets. I mean, I added an outlet. You can't really see it. It's over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I could hang a TV-ish on the wall. I added an outlet because there was no power on that side of the room. Well, turned the power back on, and I said, well, no smoke, so I guess I did okay.
You sleep a little less deep that night. Do I smell smoke? Do I smell smoke? I'm just going to go check. I did that. I kind of had that thought. I ran a few new circuits at the house that my grandson lives in that we own. And I'm like, this is at that top of my, confidence level. not sure I should be any more confident than this. And I'm not even sure I should necessarily be there. You know, at this point, the pen is out to write a check that my ass can't cash. All right. So, you know, that night and the next day, I went, everything's still working okay? Computer all right? You know, no smoke or nothing, right? You know, going, ha, 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 ha. And then in my head going, please say there's no smoke. You know. But, yeah, DIY can go really well or really bad. There's no middle ground most of the time.
Yeah. It depends on the age of the house, too.
Either goes as it's supposed to, or, well, let's just burn the bitch down and start over, because...
well, and even as it's supposed to, it's as it's supposed to plus X hours, or as it's supposed to on time. And then there's the factor of how many tools did I have to buy to accomplish this?
Yes.
Which the rule should always be at least one. All right, you should, no matter what the project is. Oh, honey, can you hang that picture for me? Yeah, real quick. I just got to go get a tool for that. I need a new leveler bob. You know, that can only be purchased today for $150. You know.
You know, it gets to a point where I realize I don't want any more tools, because I'm at a different stage in life than you, Shaggy. I'm at a stage where eventually I'm going to have to move all of this shit.
Well, I'm not moving.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know that. We know that.
So
you build.
I will make do with the tools that I have. And I will buy new tools when I have a workshop to keep them in forever.
I'm so not moving. My next project is to build a mausoleum in the backyard so I can be here after I'm dead. That's how far I'm not moving. So I'm sure the new owners will love it.
Let's say good luck with the permitting on that, or
well,
well, listen. Here's what you do. Okay, you make it a mausoleum / smokehouse. So that the kids can cook their brisket and honor mom and dad.
The base of the outdoor grill is just going to be, you know, because it's going to be a long outdoor kitchen, right? You know, you got to have a countertop that's at least 10 feet long. All right. It's just going to be an extra about 3 feet deep. All right. That way, you just slide the casket in there.
There you go.
They'll never know.
Problem solved.
Mm-hmm.
But do it like they do in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Press them into beads?
I do want a parade,
no.
though, please.
Oh.
Yeah.
Feed them to a gator?
No? Okay. What then, Colin?
What do they do?
So okay.
The mausoleum's above ground. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, but that, okay. So here's how it worked in New Orleans. And so it was predominantly a Catholic area.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So because it was Catholic, they weren't allowed to burn the bodies.
Right.
At the same time, they can't put the bodies underground because water.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they had these above ground things they put the body in, and then over time they would bake there in the sun until the body basically burnt up in the sun. And then they would open the front and just shove it in the back and stick another body there instead. So they just kept shoving bodies in front while the remains of the old bodies kept falling out the back.
I swear there was a word for these above ground burial places.
Beignet.
No, not beignet.
Oh.
I don't know. I thought no, not a crematorium.
Solar crematorium.
No, I don't know. I don't know. If only there was a word. So, moving on, we do have a couple of things Tonight Show. Let's see here.
They're called oven crypts.
Okay, that may be one name for them.
If you try to say that they're mausoleums, they're not mausoleums. That's a different thing.
They
altogether.
sure look like mausoleums.
No, because you go into a mausoleum years from now and the body's still going to be there. You don't bake in a mausoleum.
I don't know. They might bake in a big concrete box.
All right. Well, speaking of baking cakes, I got a bone to pick with you, pal.
Uh-oh. What?
You posted a story to our white sheet.
Uh-huh.
Now, this was back on the 15th. And we talked about it on the last show. Clarissa Codell?
Okay.
That's my entire friggin' Instagram feed now, thank you.
Oh. Well. You mean when we went through all of her tweets that
Yep.
were funny? Cool.
She's still going through it. Thanks a lot. And for the record, after seeing some of her reels and stuff,
Uh-huh.
these people commenting are probably hoping she will kick their ass.
I tell you. Okay, so speaking of things we talked about in the last show. Okay, we talked about the podcast directories being flooded by AI generated podcasts. Okay? And similarly, we've talked about before that music, if you go out there on YouTube or you watch the Reels or the Instagram or whatever it is, you'll not Instagram, TikToks, whatever it is, you'll see.
No, some of us still go on Instagram. Thank you.
Well, yeah, but they don't have movies on Instagram much.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not a teenage girl. I'm
They're
not on it.
typically
all that
shared a
long.
couple of weeks after they've been on TikTok, but that's besides the point.
Okay. All right. So, anyway, so the music industry is getting bombarded with the same thing because they're training the AI models off of real artists and real music, right? So the music industry was up in arms because of how dare AI go and steal, from them, basically. And but just recently, those same record agencies entered into an agreement with OpenAI to fuel their data model.
Okay.
So, I just thought it was interesting. It was a headline that I read. And it's like, we don't like you until we're going to make money off you. And then, okay. So, for those of you that say the life of a struggling artist is difficult, or music artist, it just got worse.
See, here's the thing, though. They keep forgetting that it's already been ruled that if AI generates something, you can't copyright it.
Well, that's, debatable, I guess.
Because it's like the monkey that took a picture of itself, where they said, well, the monkey took the picture of itself, so therefore it's not a copyrightable picture. So they said the same thing about AI. So it's like, the point is, if you fully AI generate a song, then you can't force anybody to pay for it. They can make as many copies as they want.
Well, I bet you for a price I can get that changed. I bet if I had, I don't know, a gold bar or two, seems to be the going rate right now. Probably make that happen. So maybe just a country with oil in it. I don't know. But anyway, moving along. Mike got a kick out of one reel that we found, which was our good buddy Gary Busey. You're muted, Mike.
I'm sorry, I was listening to something else real quick, but my man, the Buse,
Yeah.
That is my text message notification now.
So, yeah.
The Buse, and this is not unlike buttered sausage. This is legit Buse.
Yeah. It's
And if you're on any kind of social media, you have seen some version of this.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only about 30 seconds long. It's not very long, but, you know, it's great that it
Doesn't
is
have to
out
be.
there. No. You know, and I just, you know, let's see here. Let's see if this will come through, actually.
Hey, it's Gary Busey, and I have got a great Christmas present for you. Listen to this. Honk! Honk! That's what a goose sounds like when they're flying. They let you know they're up there. Honk! Honk! You get a bunch of geese together. Honk, honk, honk. They're honking in the air.
Now, the problem with this is that birds aren't real.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, it's spy cameras.
Am I seriously the last person on earth that knew about that? Did we ever talk about that on the show? And my
Yeah.
memory's just shot?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we talked on it. It was over a year ago. More, you know, much more than a year ago, probably. So.
Okay.
So there's an excuse for you.
Well, the Buse has been making appearances on social media again quite a bit. Let me tell you something. After seeing that goose reel, I got to be completely honest with you. He would have been my number one pick for the death pool if we were still running the death pool this year.
I hadn't heard anything about Gary Busey until this popped up in my feed, and I'm like, he is still alive?
I don't know.
He's in a different plane of reality, but yeah he's still around. And while we're talking about rest in peace, I feel it is worth mentioning someone who has probably influenced each host on this show at some point in their lives. The creator of Dilbert,
Douglas Adams.
Doug Adams, passed away today. Doug Adams or Scott Adams? No, Scott.
Scott
Adams. Douglas Adams died a long time ago.
Yeah.
He's much funnier.
Okay. Yes, Scott Adams.
But
sorry.
Scott Adams, regardless,
family.
I mean, yes, the man was one of the first to be hit with cancel culture, but you have to separate, in my opinion, and I've said this many times, you have to separate the creation from the creator sometimes.
Yes.
And Dilbert was a cultural icon back in the day.
Yeah. You couldn't.
For people like us that were in the cube environment.
Yeah, you couldn't. I mean, you couldn't separate it out. I mean, it was, and it was the inspiration for so much pop culture references then to the geek, right? Because we had Dilbert before we had
Office Space,
before we had Big Bang Theory, before we had we had it before we had IT Crowd. So it's been around for a while to celebrate to celebrate the intelligence, but then also to make us laugh at the mediocrity, which is middle management. So, and corporate America. So, that's it's the cartoon that we all needed to get through the majority of the 80s and the 90s for sure. And I can tell you, it was an inspiration for a cartoon that I followed for a long time called PC Weenies, which was just, it was the PG-13 version of Dilbert, is what it was.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of this, we need to apologize for Poindexter. Apologize to Wormser for not believing him about Poindexter, because apparently Poindexter is now under investigation and has turned himself in for child sex abuse allegations. Did you hear about this one?
No, I did not hear about this one.
What? Okay, not really Wormser, but it's Timothy Busfield who played Poindexter. And
Poindexter
my natural
from-
thought is Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds 2. He was
Oh,
also
I had no idea that was Timothy Busfield.
he was also in
Yep.
a Little Big League, Field of Dreams.
Oh, there's a lot of newer stuff he was on. I just didn't remember he was.
Well, yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
He was in The West Wing, evidently.
Yes, he was. I remember him. You know what? My entire knowledge of Timothy Busfield is probably. I think he was in 30-something and The West Wing. That's
I
the most
was going to
prolific
say, I
one.
remember, I never watched 30-something, but I remember he was in it.
Me too.
But yes. He actually, yes, he was Poindexter. A lot of people didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, of course, the joke here, him and Wormser.
Mm-hmm.
Bad joke on my part. Sorry.
It was another one of those. If I had done the same thing, it would have been this. But referencing Revenge of the Nerds, okay, for us, you realize that was 1984.
I'll go fuck yourself. What?
1984, that movie came out. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of napkin math here.
Don't, please.
So
Don't.
God,
No.
that is way too long ago. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm definitely not that old. So if we go back, and I'm gonna do you a solid, Mike. I'm gonna take it back from my birth year, not yours.
How's that doing me a solid?
I'm pretty sure I was 6.
Well, I'm just gonna say you referencing that would have been the same as someone our age, back when we were the age of listening to the show, referencing Call of the Wild or Hands Across the Table or Eagle's Brood or Captain Blood.
Yeah, those are not working.
I'm just saying.
There's no cultural reference I can think of for any of those things. They're just random
19.
words.
Oh, dear sweet
King
Jesus.
Kong, the original release of King Kong,
There!
or the Invisible Man, or
There
the
you
Wizard,
go.
the Wizard of Oz. When
There
the
you
Wizard of
go.
Oz
You
first
found
came out.
something. There you go.
Good Lord.
Sorry,
This guy's listing off movies that were like the
30s. It would have been the equivalent of referencing in the 30s. That's what it would have been.
Well, the good news is we could watch. No, we can't. Not without paying for it. Never mind. I was going to say we could watch Captain Blood on Prime, apparently, but we have to buy it.
So, but no, the other thing that came up in addition to it was, you know what? I haven't talked about this story, Mike, and I've been putting it off for like several months now. But neighbor across the street. Yeah, it's the ball party that I mentioned. So neighbor across the street, okay, from us. You'll understand what I mean. Neighbor across the street from us, her son, adult son, passed away a year ago. Okay, so it was coming up on the anniversary, and she came to us and said, "Hey, we know your wife bakes. Would she mind putting together a small assortment, like a couple dozen, cupcakes for a ball that is getting put on in Julius's, honor. A fundraiser for that." Like, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely would be interested in doing that. So Angie goes overboard. There's 4 boxes. Each box is 4 dozen, and there's cookies and everything else. So I take those over, a couple days later to her and say, "Okay, here you go. Here's everything for the ball." Bet you got I'm like, it's that day. It's the day of. And so I'm like, so you guys getting ready for it? And they're like, oh, no, we're not going. Now, this is like 60, 70-year-olds. Okay, you would think a ball would be the thing that they would want to go to, you know? I'm like, oh, yeah? And they're like, no, it's going to be way too late into the night, and, we got this other fundraiser tomorrow to do. Okay, cool. And then she hands me the brochure for the ball. And she goes, oh, yeah, see here, look, here's some pictures of things that are going to happen. It's a player's ball. Player's ball. So I am, like, laughing to myself walking back across the street so that I can tell my wife the fancy dress ball that she thought was going to happen was not what was going on at all. And she's like, my wife is pretty naive. She's like, what's a player's ball? And I'm like, pimps and hoes. She's like, oh.
But at least I have cupcakes.
Yeah. But they'll have good treats.
At one point, I thought Springfield was like a nice little suburb kind of thing, Very much what I would expect. I don't know, kind of like
Mayberry,
the Midwest version of, Funny Farm.
Okay, yep, gotcha.
Had the ability to turn on the charm when they needed to. I'm guessing I'm wrong.
Yes, just a little bit. Our homeless Kent City would say that you're wrong.
So I almost had a very odd request for you, gentlemen, until I said, I don't want to get you all in trouble trying to obtain this for me, because you guys apparently have this liquor out there that I cannot get here in Jersey, and because I listened to 95.5's morning show with the morning mosh pit at work, I have become obsessed with trying to get a bottle of Malort.
Oh my goodness. I don't know that you really want to do that, but yeah, it definitely can be done.
No, I understand. I probably don't, but I do.
Okay. Yep.
Because it's very similar to like the forbidden fruit at this point. I asked 2 liquor stores around here if they can get it. They didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
And okay, apparently if I really wanted to get it, I would have to drive to like Boston.
You know what though?
Why? I don't know. But
I'm going to try that experiment, but in reverse. Because there's a butcher shop that we go to, and I'm going to ask him if he can order pork roll. And see if we can get what otherwise I doubt anybody here would know. I have to ask a butcher because otherwise they're not going to have a freaking clue. So I'm going to ask him, hey, do you know what pork roll is, and can you order some for me? And see what happens.
I'd be very curious. Now, it's true, because anybody outside of the tri-state area here in New Jersey, if you ask them what pork roll is and they know, then they're a transplant. That's a safe bet. If they say Taylor ham, hit them with a shoe. Just take your shoe off and hit them. That it's an acceptable response.
Oh.
So, what's the population where you were at, Mike?
My town or
Yeah.
my particular town of Sayreville is, I believe, probably about 7,000.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Springfield is about 114,000.
Okay, yeah. All right, so you have a lot more miscreants. And
Yeah.
It's about 50% miscreant at this point. That should be put underneath the population number on the sign as you're coming into town.
actually,
Granted,
I
plenty
am
of the
basing
ways
my.
into the
We're
town.
not near 100,000. I know this. I'm basing it off of what I've seen in the local election numbers. So
Also, we are the state capital, so
well,
any
yeah.
place where you have
Oh,
lots
I'm
of
sorry.
politicians, you are
Jesus,
going
that just tells me how off I am, and as far as how many people actually go out to vote, because our population is around 47,000.
Well, there you go. Look at that.
I was only off by 40,000.
Hey, will that work on my mortgage? Hey, I think I'm paid off.
Well, but seriously, like the last election, as I'm watching it, I think there was only about 4,000 votes cast, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 votes.
Are you saying? But
So-
is that the election? Is that the election from the last president, or just the last
No.
election period?
Last election,
Because-
which is local, but
Yeah, nobody cares.
because there was no president. Yeah, I know. It's an off cycle year. I think they call it, whatever. Anyway, whatever. Don't matter.
Yeah.
But however, I would argue that if you go percentage wise, we're probably about 50% as well, as far as miscreants and
Yeah.
what have you, and
Well,
growing.
Yeah.
Any good,
'Cause we got a lot-
healthy population should be 50% miscreant.
We have a lot of New York transplants. Like the progression is you from New York, you move to Jersey because you'll pay a little bit lower taxes and have a yard. And then from Jersey you move to Pennsylvania, so you pay a little lower taxes and have more yard, a bigger yard. Or you pay less taxes for the same yard.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go down south.
Yeah. We have quite a few transients, a lot of vagrants, a few absconders. Some people who would label themselves as urban survivalists. Those are the fancy homeless people.
I like our urban survivalist. I like that.
Yep. So, but yeah. Now, once you get out to the outskirts, though, the suburbs. Oh no! Then you segment into either economic sociologists or whatever, eco-sociologists. Yeah, that word, or geopolitical. Or whatever. So you definitely end up on the outskirts, knowing who's where. You got the Richie Riches, you got the neo-Nazis, you got the trailer park trash, you got all the homeless people, you got the Section 8 folks, you got this is actually where all the Asians live. It just works that way sometimes. Here's all the preppies, and I mean it's this weird like. You don't have to reorganize the pie shape at all because it just works.
I just need to know where, no, you know what? I don't need to know because I'm not going to live out there by you. I can't.
If I didn't have to live near where I live, I wouldn't live near where I live. I'd live someplace far from where I live. But
No,
I
you're
have to
gonna
live
live
near
where you
where I
live.
live.
You have to live where you live because you have
live
to pay
where
off
I
where you
live.
live.
Yeah.
I don't like where no, my town, no. Look at the time.
Yes, it is time for our movie review. And folks, boy, do we have a first of the year
No, we don't.
kickoff action-packed flick. We don't. No, 'cause
This
we're
is
still
ridiculousness.
We're still finishing up December.
So it's a Christmas movie. Woohoo!
It's a Christmas movie. Or is it a heist movie? Or is it a Christmas heist movie? Are they stealing Santa Claus? I don't know. All right. Who's on primary for this week?
It's me.
Colin is on primary because it's a
good.
heist movie.
And it's British. So, Colin, take it away.
Mostly, I guess. So, Jingle Bell Heist is... Okay, I want to say this first. If you have family who likes Hallmark-type Christmas movies, but you don't really want to go full Hallmark, and you do like a little bit of heist, I'll just say this is probably a good movie to watch, and maybe don't listen to the rest of my review because they do some interesting story things here where they hide stuff, and I am not going to not talk about it because it's like kind of spoiled almost immediately, so I'm just going to go into it. So I would say if you're interested in a Christmas heist Hallmarky type movie, then that's what this is. So, that being said, the movie starts trying to fake out the audience. Because it starts off with, you have two characters. One is obviously they're two kind of, what are they? Spies. You don't know what they are. All you know is that they are apparently in Santa's workshop with these fancy, futuristic-looking backpack things. And they're about to go and do something, and it seems like it's going to be dangerous. Then the story continues, and you're like, oh, okay. So you have a con artist slash I just lost her name. Anyway, you think... See, this is the problem. We watched this movie 2 weeks ago, and I'm trying to...
That's
So,
okay.
anyway,
You don't have to give a huge synopsis. You can just
No. So you have a character who you think is a con artist slash impersonator slash someone who just lifts things from people, and you think, oh, she's really professional at this. And you have this other guy who you think is the hacker. So you look at this and you go like, oh, okay, so this is good. I kind of know this. You're watching, and then you realize as the movie continues, you realize, oh, man, there's some things going on here that don't make any sense. Like, they're trying to break into a safe. And the safe has one of those number generators that goes on your keychain. But they're trying to somehow break into the computer system that tells the keychain what the number is. And I'm like, that's not how that works. That keychain's not talking to anything. There's a cryptographic thing inside that thing that's automatically generating numbers. It doesn't have to talk to anything. What are they doing? And then it goes for a while, and you're like, oh, okay, the hacker guy isn't a hacker guy. He literally is what he was pretending to be at the beginning, a guy who puts in closed caption TV camera systems and works in a shop where he fixes cell phones. That's actually what he is. And, oh, she's not really a grifter slash thief. She's someone whose grandfather that she grew up with was an amateur magician and picked up some abilities from him, but isn't really professional. And you're like, oh. So the reason that the whole hacking the computer system thing didn't make any sense is because it didn't make any sense. They were faking it and lying to each other. Oh, okay. Interesting way to do it. So they're faking out each other. They're faking out the audience. Okay. The end of the movie, it's like it didn't really fully gel because the wife sending them in to put stuff in how does she know where the stuff was? That was kind of weird. So up to that point, I am giving this movie a smile. Okay? I will say the end credits of this movie are terrible and almost dove this movie below meh. But in the end, I decided I'm just going to ignore the end credits because most people don't watch the end credits anyway, so whatever. The problem with the end credits, I'll just say, is because you have all the characters back together, including the mother character who had cancer. So suddenly, because they got all this money, the mother character was cured of all of her cancer and her hair grew back instantly. And then she's back there, and you're like, oh, but no, maybe this was in the future. No, because the daughter is there too, and the daughter is not aged. The daughter is the exact same age that you just saw in the previous scene. So because of that, no time has passed. So somehow, in the UK, all you need to do is get money, and you can cure cancer and grow hair like that. That kind of pissed me off. I was like, that's terrible, terrible filmmaking there. They should not have done that. But like I said, I decided, just the end credits, I'm going to ignore it. I'll keep it at smile. That's
okay. All right. Mike, you want to go next?
Sure, why not?
All right.
We're 20 minutes into this movie. Not a thing has jumped out at me as remarkable about the movie. So far, this entire movie has been 20 minutes of cliche, except that the daughter has an American accent, but mom is British. Whoa, wait a minute. This is a British movie. You bastards pulled a fast one on me, but okay. I have nothing good to say about this movie either way, except that the main actress is pretty hot. There's a neat little twist about Sophia's relationship to the target. Neat little twist at the end as well, but that kind of screws this up because does this mean this isn't really a heist? Have they lied to us all along? If this movie had taken place at any other time except Christmas, it wouldn't be any better. And it would... it doesn't help that I watched this as I was recovering from my cold. So I could have been hopped up on NyQuil when I watched this. I truly am not sure if I remember this movie. I recall some things about it, wondering exactly how these two Stunads hooked up to come up with this plan, how they were able to pull this off and pull the old switcheroo, hocus pocus, abracadabra, Ocean's 12 kind of thing. But I gave it a meh. Which, when you take into account that this is actually a British movie, okay, so when you do the conversion, that's pretty much a shnikes in my book. The fact that I gave it a meh.
Yeah.
But it's a meh. That's when you take the exchange rate and Brexit into account. It's a meh.
Yeah. It's the pound to euro conversion. Yeah. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll wrap up here. So half hour, similar to Mike, 24 minutes into this movie, I'm thinking, wow, this thing's got to wrap up here quick, doesn't it? Because I thought so much time had passed. I honestly thought, hey, this is moving pretty good. And honestly, I'm not nearly as... I told myself, and it wasn't until Colin started saying something, I'm like, don't bring it up, don't bring it up, don't bring it up. I specifically told myself that I shouldn't mention the small little detail. I don't know how Colin didn't say it, considering he said all the other ones, that a familial match on DNA would not unlock a DNA-linked lock. Okay? It doesn't.
I'll cover that.
It does.
I'll cover that. Go ahead.
You don't have to. All right, I'm just saying. Yeah, that wasn't there. So, I'm like, okay, but that's weird because boy, they look the same age. So either he really wanted to, either the boss guy really wanted like the gilf thing to happen. I don't know, or some weird time travel thing happened there too, because boy, the boss and what's her face doesn't look that different in age, to be completely honest. Maybe there's 5 years difference, but unless he's a 5-year-old banging somebody, that's not going to happen that way. But who knows? Anyway, so I gave it a lot of leeway today. So I'm going to give it a smile because I didn't think it was too bad, and this is one of those, like Mike, I don't care when this was filmed. It didn't have to be Christmas. It could have been almost anything. The only Christmas thing that was in there was the crazy toy grab for the, substitute Turbo Man doll. That's the only piece of plot device that leveraged Christmas at all.
I'm sorry, Colin. What did you wind up? What was the actual rating you gave this? I'm sorry.
Smile.
Okay, I didn't write it down, and I know you gave. If you ended here. Okay, my bad.
No,
Sorry.
I said I was tempted to dive it even below mad because of the closing. But okay, the DNA thing. Mm-hmm. The DNA thing actually made sense because.
Really? Okay.
Because any safe that has a DNA match lock thing on it is going to be crap. You know as well as I do, because we have some experience on here. You don't do a DNA. I mean, it's the whole. People watch CSI and think you can do a DNA test instantly. It's like, no, you can't. And any safe is going. It's the safe company sold them something that doesn't really work.
Well,
and so all it had to do was somewhat match the DNA.
I agree. I was just even thinking, okay, even in a, imaginary DNA safe that did exist because none of them exist, it wouldn't, match on a familial match because what good would that be? So yeah, I mean that's all I was getting at.
If we assume that the safe actually did a real DNA match, then you're completely correct. Having half the DNA would not work. Because actually using real world logic, you look at it and go, it's not. I mean, it's just like when I go to Disney World. They you put your finger on the thing because they don't really have your fingerprint encoded to tell you to connect to your ticket. All they've done is they've grabbed a couple points on your finger and said, "Oh, so if that point's there, then it's them." And any DNA chip they're going to be using on a safe like that, it's going to do the same thing. And it's probably just going to grab the exact same spots that your daughter would have.
So real quick before we go to the next movie, CES was this last week, and did you guys see any videos or see any products that really interested you from CES?
I didn't even know CES was this week. I am such a horrible nerd.
I didn't know that CES was still happening because I know so many of those have canceled. So
CES still occurs. I'll tell you what, there were a couple that were interesting. You guys know about the folding phones, right? Everybody's used to that. And now they're working on laptops to be able to increase the size. So I think it was Samsung showed a laptop where after you open the screen, you can press a button and each of the sides of the screen roll out another 4 inches each. So you end up with a ultra wide laptop.
Okay.
That was kind of interesting. Another company was showcasing their battery technology, and they decided to do it inside of a robot dog. It looked like one of those, the robotics company that does them. Except for this dog had wheels.
Was that Boston Dynamics?
Yeah, Boston Dynamics. Yeah, and this dog had wheels instead of paws, but it could lock the wheels so that then it would be grippy, and it could jump up fully articulate all the legs and do everything. And 2 batteries lasted 2.5 hours of like search and rescue and things like that is where they said it was really aimed at. But I just thought, boy, that would be a really good non-pooping companion. So
Had
think
to go
of
to
the
the
elder.
Dookie, huh?
Think of the elderly homes. Hypoallergenic. No. You don't have to worry about feeding it or watering it. You can make it like a Roomba, where it was low. If it was low, it could go back to its charging pad and have a nap.
There was a movie that started with getting the elderly dependent on robots, it was a big plot point. All right, and Gigi was cooking up a storm when she got that NS5. Just saying.
Well,
I don't trust the inevitable human-robot war. No.
You think the robot dogs are going to be the first wave of attack?
I read, there was another article, I thought that's where you were going with this, that Kawasaki was actually producing horse-sized robot dogs that you could ride like a horse.
Did you see that they actually did robot fighting? Robot boxing?
But I did see the dude doing like shadow boxing, and
yes,
the robot kicked him in the nuts.
Yeah.
It was robot boxing. It was it was the first annual.
He kicked himself in the ding-a-ling.
But yeah, this was robot boxing, and they had a bunch of YouTube. The one I watched had a bunch of YouTube people that were shadow boxing each other. Each one in control of a robot, and it was interesting. And I'm like, okay, give this 5 years. 5 years, and we're to real steel. The Hugh Jackman movie nobody liked, but I actually like it for weird reasons, because I think fighting robots are
that
cool.
might be,
and I see that coming. Don't you? I mean,
that's the only way that Jake Paul's getting back in the ring, so why not?
I'm just like, oh, that's like the perfect meld of esports and real sports.
I saw that robot horse video. Well, it's an AI generated Mirage, but yes, that was a video that came across my feed as well.
They did have a robot horse. Yeah, they did some robot horseback riding, which, by the way, they announced at CES that they are going into production with those robot horses. That's actually going to hit market. So it was another CES revolution. So, all right, Mike, let's talk next movie. Now we had thought about making the was it Space 2001 or Space 2020 or whatever in the hell it was. Oh no, it was Airplane 2025. We talked about making that our de facto next one.
No, the hell we did. I thought we talked about disqualifying that.
Oh, I thought
You put it on the damn list. So, okay, it's on the list. And by the way, you are on point for the next one.
You and I
1 to 47.
You and I talked about, do we need to do that because of, just the novelty of it? Okay. 23.
Absolutely not. 23. What?
What is it? I have no idea. I'm not on the sheet. I'm not cheating.
You son of a bitch.
What? What'd I do?
It's on Amazon.
What's it called?
Stalag Luft. Britain's top comic talents are behind this sharply observed comedy drama set in a POW camp deep in Germany. Not Germany, Germany.
Is it? Huh, okay.
Stars Stephen Fry, among others.
Back-to-back British movies for Mike.
It's a TV movie from 1993.
Yep. Hugh Bonneville's in it. Oh, boy. John Perkins. Yes, good old Stephen
Right, I mean, this
Fry.
is Hugh Bonneville from well before anybody knew who Hugh Bonneville was.
Yes. Oh, but Mike, it even has an Adolf Hitler character.
No. British.
But it's World War II, Brits.
No,
When they were
it's
kicking
British.
ass and taking names.
Still British. This 2026 is not starting out.
But this
I've
is
never heard
British.
of this.
British.
But this is like, Margaret Thatcher British. It's best British, Mike. All right, folks. You know what that means. It means my level's way too high. Also means we are done for this evening. And when will we be back, folks? When will we be back?
26th.
26 is when we'll be back, which will be, I believe, right before. I think that is. Yep, that is the Monday before the Crime Stoppers Trivia Night that will be up on stage for. Put it that way. So, if you want to see me, I will be there. And our logo will be shown on screen for everybody to see. Pre, during, and post show. So, Yep. But that's my next big thing. And then I've got another trivia night in May, I think. But nothing till then right now. So. All right. Anything from you guys?
Just to explain, my freeze up earlier was remembering Leverage, Hardison, and Sophie, which I think the multiple Sophies is what made my brain freeze.
Okay.
Also, John Major is the Prime Minister during this movie.
So you mean you had a real Sophie's choice?
Apparently, yeah. And my brain just went.
All right, Mike. For everybody listening, thanks. Don't forget to tell your friends. Download the podcast. Check out the website, ptrradio.com, for more fine gems like that every week. All right.
Oh, God.
I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I need another beer.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.